Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets. Premarket webinar for the morning of Monday, the 18th of August. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com and is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. So far, I've got more to say on the RTH charts, and obviously I've done a post this morning which I'm hoping you read, but what I was saying there was that obviously the short-term pattern setup here is strongly suggesting resistance just above, and this is pretty strongly suggesting that we're either going to see some consolidation here while those resistance trend lines recede and give some more room for market to go up, or we're going to see the retracement, which frankly we should have seen already, but haven't yet. What I would say is, and this is a good thing, I mentioned it as well, we've got a pretty nice looking bull flag channel here on NQ. We've got a nice looking little falling wedge here on RTY. Both of these look like bull flags. They may both be setting up retests of the highs. I'd like to see retests of the highs across the board because it gives us a chance we could get 3 or 4 decent quality RSI 5 daily sell signals growing on the indices, which would be very nice to see. YM could be a bear flag, but less obviously so. ES, it actually kind of looks like a little head and shoulders and might be, or slightly asymmetric double top. DAX still hasn't made the target at the retest of this high here, which I'm still expecting to see. ESTX hasn't made the target at a retest of this high here, which I'm still expecting to see. We will see. We actually have a little sell signal form and play out on ESTX, but that's already made target. YM, we had a sell signal and that's now reached the possible near miss target, and those were the only sell signals that we had. So we're out of sell signals except for on the RTH charts. Now, looking at the RTH charts, let's just have a quick look at the hourly setups. Now, SPX didn't quite make the trend line, but we already have a very nice looking rising wedge here, which has already broken down and is topping out. I'm thinking we might still make this trend line, in which case I will redraw this trend line here, but we've already got a wedge that's broken down, so it doesn't actually, in practical terms, make an awful lot of difference. On IWM, again, we just missed it. Very, very close, but not a hit. But again, we've got a nice looking rising wedge, which had already broken down. That already had 3 touches on the resistance trend line. I love these resistance trend lines, and I'm still thinking these other 2 may get a hit, but it doesn't really matter if they don't. We've got part formed possible topping patterns here across the board, and we've already got, on the 2 which haven't quite reached the resistance trend lines, we've already got pretty obvious rising wedges which have already broken down. Now Q did make it, so I've redrawn that support trend line, and on Dia it did make it, and I've redrawn that one too. Doesn't make any difference in terms of the overall rising wedges. We already had them, but it does confirm the resistance trend lines I drew, which is good because that means as long as they hold in a way that isn't just a bearish overthrow, then we are looking at some consolidation or retracement here. So I've drawn that out. I've put in all the pattern targets for the possible patterns which are forming here, and this does look like topping action at the moment, and we'll see if we actually get a retrace. Now, one thing I was saying in April, and I mentioned this in the post too, was I was saying that economic numbers take a while to feed through, and we've only really just started seeing some of the labor numbers and the jobs numbers and the inflation numbers that are showing what's really likely to happen here. And I'm not talking about the apocalypse on inflation, but I am talking about rising inflation, because the whole point of tariffs is it puts up prices of foreign products so that consumers are more likely to buy domestic products instead. That's how tariffs work. So it's obvious that it would put up prices, and that's silly for anyone to suggest that that wouldn't be the case. So we will see how that goes. I'm expecting to see more bad numbers. Really, I don't see much that this administration has done that actually is positive for the economy. So that's not really a comment about Trump or the movement or whatever. It's just, politicians are generally full of shit. And trying something that has been done many times before and failed to achieve the objective you're working on and thinking it might work is just stupidity, or at the very least ignorance. Anyway, so that's where we are on the indices here. I'm really liking some consolidation or retracement here. We do have a nice setup for retracement, but it would be improved further if we saw retest of the high. And I'm thinking we might see that and set up some daily RSI 5 sell signals, which are my favorite daily sell signals. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX is just trading sideways at the moment. I still like this target down here in about the 96.8 area, and I'm still thinking that'll probably get hit. We've got a really mixed bag in terms of what the other currency pairs are saying. I mean, a good example is US to JPY here, which looks like a double bottom that could break up, and that would be bullish for the dollar. Or USD CAD, where we've got a little level top, which is breaking down, open sell signal, and this looks like an overall possible bull flag forming, but it looks like it may well need to go down to 1.365 to 1.3675, and that would be bearish for dollar duration. We've got this really across the board on the currencies, and so we're just really waiting for a decision. Looking at ZB, this kind of looks like a bull flag forming. And maybe ZN, actually this very much looks like a bull flag forming. So I'm still leaning towards seeing another retest of these highs, which we haven't seen yet. But those could be the second highs of double tops as and when we get there and go lower. Bigger picture, we're kind of trading sideways on bonds as well. All right, looking at CL. CL, I'm going to be doing a post this week, or at least I'm planning a post this week. I'm going to be trying to get a post out every day. On equities, on crypto, on bigger picture stuff. I want to do a lot more bigger picture posts. But the first one I think I'm going to do on the bigger picture is looking at the overall setup on oil here, which is bullish on the much bigger picture. But may well require a move down into the mid 50s to retest some lows and set up some nice looking double bottoms. And equally, that is the kind of move on the scale I'm talking about, which could take a few weeks or months. I'm leaning towards seeing that, but we're trading sideways at the moment. We've got a few indicators and a couple of pattern setups suggesting that we might actually see a decent rally here, and I'm watching out for that possibility. HO, we're still owed a test of this level low down below in about the 2.185 area, and we haven't seen it yet, but we are very close. It wouldn't take an awful lot to give that to us. RBOB, this looks like a bear flag. It has broken down. We've got a possible double bottom here, which currently looks like it may well be failing. But bigger picture, we got a target down here at a retest of this level here in about the 1.865 area. And again, it wouldn't take an awful lot to deliver that 1.865 area. Yeah. It's wouldn't take an awful lot to deliver that, and that looks like unfinished business below. NG, I've redrawn this falling wedge here because it looks like we're breaking up. Now, it may just be that the the falling wedge is just evolving and becoming bigger and setting up a less steep resistance trend line, but it could be we're actually looking up at breaking up here. Now, I'd be leaning towards seeing a retest of the low. But I have been mentioning in the bigger picture webinars that we are coming into a 4-month period, starting in about a month, where seasonally natural gas would go up about 50% from current levels. It would go up by about 1.4, and we're really in about the 2.8 area. So I am wary about that, and I'm wary about that starting early. I do think we might go an awful lot lower on NG, but I'm thinking the most likely time to do that would actually be after this bullish leaning seasonal period. All right, let's have a look at GC. GC, possible double bottom here. Liking a move up. I would love to see our very overdue retest of the all-time high. SI, consolidating sideways. I'm leaning towards this being a bullish triangle forming, and I would love to see a retest of this high here to set up the second high of potential level top. Palladium, we've got a little 60-minute buy signal fix. I'm wondering about seeing a decent rally here. We have already made the head and shoulder target. On platinum, we'd already made the head and shoulder target there. This really, really looks like a bear flag, which is starting to break down. The obvious target for that would be a retest of this low here in the 1270 area. HG, we've also got a bear flag, and that's also starting to break down. This has been a very, very, very tight bear flag channel, and the target isn't a long way below. It's only down to a retest this low here in about 4.325 area. But that's starting to break down, and I'm leaning towards seeing that. That could be the second lower double bottom. We could just continue down. Bigger picture, I'm leaning somewhat bearish. KC, I rolled this into December along with ZW just because a load of these things are showing that the current month is September, but actually the volume's in December. So I've rolled all the ones where that applied to into December, which was most of them, on the soft commodities and the grains. Now here it seems fairly clear that we've broken up from what was a possible bear flag, and that there is an overall IHS which has broken up. That's got a target in the 370 area, and I think that's got a decent shot. SB, we've seen a rejection from this trend line here. I was meaning to mention that this is actually a possible IHS Mark II. The other one, the right shoulder, extended too long, but this one could be left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming here. So I'm watching that, but we could just fail into a retest of this low here in the 1542 area. Looking at CC, nice looking IHS, that broke up. It's got a target in the 89.50 area, and we haven't made it yet. I'm still leaning towards that target being made. CT, we got a nice looking double bottom here, and I have been saying when we retested this low here, we could be putting in a pretty serious low and see a big move up afterwards. I'm thinking we may well be getting started on that. Lumber, bigger picture, I'm still leaning short. I'm thinking we could go down into the 300s from here actually. But this was a tight falling channel. It's broken up, and I'm thinking this would be a good time to see a counter trend rally. No current positive divergence on wheat. Wheat, I am wondering. Well, I've got some bullish signs and setups on grains. I am thinking in terms of rally, possibly counter trend, possibly a larger low. But wheat. Waiting to see if we can break over this declining resistance here in about the 535 area. On corn, possible bottoming action, nice looking double bottom on wheat, of course. On soy, we've already broken up when IHS has made target. Looks like we're going to see a retest of this high. That could be setting up the second hyper double top for a reversal back down, or we could be continuing up to the origin of this wedge here in the 1070 area. Looking at ZL, we've broken up from the wedge. We'd already made the double top target, of course, down here. We've got a nice looking potential double bottom, and I think this has got a shot at breaking up. And if we can get over the monthly pivot, target for that would be in about the 55.5 to 56 area. Live cattle looks like a bullish triangle forming. Lean hogs maybe breaking down from a bear flag, but that bear flag could still be forming. So waiting to see, but sooner or later this looks as though it's going to need a retest of this low here in about the 85.9 area. All right, great. Let's have a look at questions. Yeah, my pleasure as always, guys. Anyway, should be an interesting week. I will catch you guys again tomorrow. All right, take care.